The Challenger disaster, 1986. 73 seconds of heartbreak. On January 28, 1986, the world tuned in to watch the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger. It was supposed to be a triumph, sending the first ordinary citizen, a teacher, into orbit. Instead, 73 seconds into the flight, the shuttle broke apart on live television, killing all 7 crew members. It remains one of the most searing images of the 20th century, a tragedy that exposed the fatal cost of ignoring engineers in favor of schedules. The teacher in space. The mission, STS-51L, had captured the public imagination like no other because of Christa McAuliffe. A high school social studies teacher from New Hampshire, she was chosen from 11,000 applicants to conduct lessons from space. Her presence meant that millions of school children were watching live in classrooms across America, amplifying the emotional impact when the trails of smoke diverged in the sky. The fatal flaw, the O-ring. The disaster's physical cause was microscopic compared to the shuttle's size. A rubber O-ring seal in the right solid rocket booster failed at liftoff. The O-rings were designed to seal the joints between booster segments, but on launch morning, temperatures in Florida had dropped to 18 degrees Fahrenheit, -8 degrees Celsius. The cold hardened the rubber, preventing it from sealing properly. Hot pressurized gas escaped, burning a hole in the external fuel tank and triggering the structural failure. The warnings ignored. The tragedy was not an accident, it was a management failure. Engineers from Morton Thiokol, the booster manufacturer, famously pleaded with NASA managers the night before not to launch, citing the extreme cold. One engineer, Roger Boisjoli, warned that launching in such conditions would result in a catastrophe of the highest order. Under pressure to maintain the launch schedule, NASA managers overruled them, famously asking if they wanted to think like engineers or like managers. Breakup, not an explosion. Contrary to popular belief, the Challenger did not explode in the traditional sense. The structural failure of the external tank released liquid hydrogen and oxygen, which ignited in a massive fireball. But the orbiter itself was torn apart by aerodynamic forces, literally ripped to pieces by the wind shear at Mach 1.92. Tragically, evidence suggests the crew cabin remained intact during the breakup, and astronauts likely survived the initial event, only to perish upon impact with the ocean. The NASA culture shift. Rogers Commission, which investigated the disaster, including physicist Richard Feynman, slammed NASA's flawed culture. Feynman famously demonstrated the O-ring vulnerability by dipping a piece of rubber in ice water on live TV. The disaster grounded the shuttle fleet for nearly 3 years and forced a complete redesign of the boosters and a restructuring of NASA's safety protocols, ending the era where space travel was viewed as routine. Conclusion. The Challenger disaster stands as a grim reminder that nature cannot be fooled by politics or deadlines. It taught a painful lesson that the voices of engineers must be heard, especially when the risks are written in the cold physics of the launch pad. Do you remember where you were when Challenger fell? Tell us your story in the comments.